All right, welcome back, everybody. You are still watching The Lowdown. Now, I got a very special musical guest in the house today. He's a saxophonist who doesn't just play one, but two at a time. He's performing Believe Again. Y'all give it up for Richardshawjr. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Richardshawjr on the Lowdown. Bro! All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Lowdown. We just had an amazing performance by this young man, Richardshawjr.
Yes.
One more time.
Yes. Thank you.
Bro.
Yes.
First off, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
And thank you for that wonderful performance. I don't even know where to start. Brother, you did such incredible things during that. You played 2 saxophones at one time.
Yes.
Okay. And then you held a note. I've never heard anybody do that before. How long was that?
Probably about 30 seconds.
How do you do that?
A lot of breath control, a lot of practicing, and there's a special technique. Mm-hmm. I won't mention it online, but I'll tell you about it after the show.
Okay. Oh, it's one of those. Okay. See, I'm a child of the 90s. I grew up with hip hop. I couldn't share anything with you. You all of me gone. Okay. Let's go leave it at that. Oh man, that was truly amazing, man. First off, first question: how long have you been playing saxophone?
25 years.
God bless. And
thank you.
You started in church.
So I actually started, the passion started in my mother's womb. She told me stories about how she would walk around the house, and whenever she played music, I would jump.
Really?
So that was a hint to my appreciation or love for music.
That is so true.
Yeah.
So my son plays saxophone as well, and we would play him music while he was in his mom's stomach, and that definitely helped. Now she credits herself then for your career.
She does.
She does. She tells you all the time, you're like, one for me.
Exactly.
Now she must be so proud, man.
She is. Her and my father.
God, that's amazing, brother.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. Now you have kids of your own.
I do.
How old are your kids?
So I have a 14-year-old daughter, Serenity.
Okay.
And a 7-year-old son, Ezekiel.
Okay, beautiful, wonderful names. Yes. Now, does any one of them play instruments as well?
So they both have expressed the interest, but they haven't really held on to it.
Gotcha.
You know, at that age, they're kind of like, but my daughter, she's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
She loves entrepreneurship, and my son, he's between DJing and maybe drums.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I like both of those, bro. We the best. Okay. Now, really quick, you had mentioned something before we started taping about how your journey began with saxophone. You said you were close when you first started with quitting, but there was a reason you did not.
Yes. So my mom, both of my parents, I told them around the age of 10.
Okay.
Because I was in the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, we were camping out, and my Boy Scout leader, he was playing music over the radio, and I was like, who is that? He was like, that's Kenny G, playing the saxophone. So that was my initial really getting them, really listening to jazz or music. And I was like, I want to do that. I came back home, I told my parents, I said, I want to play the sax.
Okay.
They said, well, Richard, you're going to have to wait because that's an expensive horn.
It is indeed.
So they didn't purchase it until I turned 13.
Okay. You had to wait a little bit.
I had to wait a little bit, and that's when I actually initially got started, really the tipping part of 14.
Gotcha. And you had told your mom what when you started?
I said, listen, this thing is hard after about 6 months. I said, I don't know if I can do this. She said, boy, you go continue to play that horn.
Yeah. I done paid for this horn.
Exactly.
You go play it.
Exactly.
But thank God for Mom for pushing you, man. Because
Yes.
look at where you at now, your whole career, man. Now, Mike wanted to ask you something real quick.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Richardshawjr Jr.
There you
I'm
go.
sure your parents are very proud. So you call home Atlanta, of course. Now, being a great musician that you are, how do you separate yourself in Atlanta, the music mecca, from everyone else?
You know, that's a great question because there's millions of musicians. One of the things that allows me to stand out is my story of Believe Again. Also, I play 2, 3 saxes at the same time.
Right.
I'm known for holding a note for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just depending on how I feel. So there's certain techniques that I do that really allows me to stand out.
Bro, that's amazing. I couldn't hold my breath for 30 seconds, let alone. But I did want to talk about your philosophy, Believe Again, and what that actually means.
Yes. So I'll tell you, I've been playing the sax for 25 years. My first 6 months, I wanted to quit, right? But then after a while, I went back to this dark period, James.
Really?
Yes. For 7 years, I said, you know what? I am officially quitting.
Wow.
So during that 7-year period, I fell into depression.
Okay.
I suffered from mental illness at that time. And
Okay.
I said, you know what? I'm done with life. And what happened, what it really initiated that was I kept comparing myself to other artists. And that's the worst thing you
Absolutely.
can do. Never compare yourself to others, but learn from others.
Absolutely.
And I remember in that dark period, because my career wasn't taking off, I just felt out of place, a fish without fins. And what happened during that period, I said, you know what? I'm going to take my life, and I attempted suicide.
Wow. Bro.
I did. I literally attempted suicide.
It got that dark for you.
It got that dark. I swallowed about 45 500 milligram pills.
Wow.
I ended up in the hospital. I woke up, and I'll never forget the doctor standing over me and saying, Richard, you could have took your life, son. And I made a vow to God on my hospital bed, I will never think about suicide or attempt it again in my life. And I've been clean ever since. I never had another thought.
Bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that first off, because people who are struggling, going through something right now could be watching this show and they can relate to what you were going through, because it does get dark. We all go through it as entertainers. We're our worst critics, and we're always comparing ourselves to other people. But God has a plan for each and every one of us. And the plan doesn't always look like everybody else's.
That is so
It's in
true.
His time.
Exactly.
So thank God that you came through that, man, and look at you, you're prospering right now.
Yes.
Man, look at all the great things happening to you, man. You are, look at this. You are on the Lowdown with James and Tight Mike.
Yes.
So thank you for that wonderful message, man. I'm glad you're doing so much better. How do you balance everything that you do? Because you travel. You're about to go to Vegas, my friend.
Yes.
How do you balance life? Because you're a father, you're a husband, and you're a musician. How do you balance, man?
You know what? It's really about managing. Because it's kind of hard for me to balance. Some days it's like 100% all music for that particular time frame.
It has to be.
So it's kind of hard for me, honestly, to balance. But what I've learned to do is really manage.
Okay.
Set the expectation for everyone so everybody is on one accord.
You have to be. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Exactly.
Exactly. Gotcha. What is your rehearsal routine like, man? Because you didn't just. That's something you have to practice. So how much do you practice a day?
At least an hour to 2 hours a day.
Every day.
Every day.
It's like playing baseball. You can't be a great baseball player if you don't do it every day.
Exactly. Even if I don't physically touch it, I'm touching it in my mind.
There you go. You're always thinking music.
I'm always.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Now, I know you were traveling. You're about to go to Vegas right now. So any upcoming events you can quickly tell us about?
Wow. So this year I have tons of private events.
Okay.
So a lot of people, like I'm going to Ohio in June. I'm going to Aruba.
Nice.
Later in September for a wedding anniversary.
Woo!
So it's just, I have a lot of private events coming up.
That's beautiful though, man. You can actually do that. And they take you to Aruba?
All over the world.
You need an assistant to hold the
come with
saxophone?
me.
Yeah. Here's your saxophone, Mr. Shaw. All right, man. Everybody watching at home is definitely enjoying you as much as me and Mike have, man.
Thank you.
Please tell them your social media so they can definitely support you and follow you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook under Richardshawjr. My website is www.richardshawjr.com.
This is beautiful, man. Thank you,
Yes.
my friend,
Thank
for being
you.
with us today. On behalf of myself, Mr. James John, a wonderful